Hi guys, welcome to Fish Keeping Story Part 3. So I'm showing you this video because I wasn't able to include it on the Part 2 video, which is where it was supposed to be. So this is the beginning of this tank when we just recently moved and everything is nice and clear and pretty and you can see all fishes swimming around. So we added some monstera plant to kind of help with the ecosystem. But sad to say it didn't thrive, so we gotta move it back to the pot. Also, we've been giving our snails some carrots as additional nutrients to them, and they seems to be enjoying it as long as you don't put it there too long, so the water quality doesn't go bad. Also, I've also figured out that if I stick my finger into the water, like in the video, they would actually come close to it and think it's food and nibble around on it. It doesn't hurt, it kind of tickles, but it's just fun to bond with the fishes like this. And this is also back in the time where Moki is still brown, because Moki right now is all gold. Also, we've got some snails trying to mate, which is so funny because up until now, we still don't see any snail clutch or egg clutch on our tank. Wherein my sister-in-law Cora, she just recently got her tank, and then the next thing we know, she's telling us she has two clutches of egg. Like, why? What are we doing wrong here? Also, goldfish update. Here are the status. We've started with, of course, adding a little bit of water. We don't want to shock them into their new environment, so we're still halfway down there. And these are the close up of them looking happy. They're eating nicely. They're pooping nicely. Everything is looking great. This is Cappy. How big she is right now. This is Hope. I know the picture is blurred. They swim so fast. And then this is, I think, I don't know, 30. I called her 30. And then Black Eye, who no longer has a black eye, of course. And Moki, the brown one in the earlier video, is now purely gold. Yes. And then I tried cultivating some duckweed because I was like, why can't I use their poop to multiply duckweed so they have extra food? But sad to say, they just eat all of them right away. So this is how full their tank is right now. It is still very cloudy because the tank is still trying to settle down, and I do not want to drop a bunch of chemicals in the water because I've heard that's not good for them as well. I'm just want to let nature take its course and do its job. So this is still their tank full, still not selling down, so you can barely see things. And we added a new member. This is Novi. Novi because we bought him on November. He is a lion head, which means he's a goldfish that doesn't have a dorsal fin, but he's such a strong swimmer. I'm actually very worried that they're gonna bully him because he's so much smaller than everybody, but they get along so well and he just fit in right to the gang and wiggle around and do his stuff. So also, I want you to know that I've set up a little hospital tank here in the corner in case, some new fishes arrive. So that's where I put Novi first before I let him join the gang. And then remember, I don't know if I've told you the story that I also have a guppy tank that is heavily planted. They had their first batch of babies, where I'm so happy about. Those babies are all grown up now, but this is them swimming around. They're like a little tadpole, like a frog, but they're not. They're actually fishes. So they've been thriving well, and I've realized since they've got those babies, their tank is too small for them right now. So the 20-gallon where the goldfish were before, we're gonna move here in our living room. And we're gonna move all the guppies right there. And I've been moving all my plants everywhere just to make it fit. So this is the 20-gallon now. My husband and I are trying to clean it up and get it ready for the guppies so we can have a little bit of a clear view on them while we transfer them. So we're moving on the guppies. Yes, a lot of things are going on in the fish keeping story. Also, my husband decided to buy a frog, or me and my husband decided to buy a frog. So now we have a frog together with all the guppies, which I will tell you a story that I regret later. These two females are pregnant again, so I'm containing them. And this is how we're started again, just like the goldfish. I do not want to shock them. And this is them now that the water is full. So again, we started really slow, adding so little water, and then adding more as we go forward. So this is how they're new tank looks like. We bought like an we bought a moss bridge, and we've added some planes. We want to make this a self-sustaining tank. We've also added some heater. We've added some Amazon sword plant, which is thriving really well. Some moss bridge, just like what I told you, and the Java fern. So this has been a really heavily planted tank, because aside from that, we also have some photos hanging around in the corner, and our roots are submerged. Also, I've just also found out today that we've actually have a second generation of fishes coming out. I don't know if we can actually spot them. They've been hiding really great, probably hiding away from their mama, so the mama won't eat them, because apparently guppies, when giving birth, tends to eat their fry and make them so carnivorous. I don't know if you can see those tiny two eyes with tails wiggling around. So that is our second generation of guppy babies. I did not do anything hard. I let nature do its job. I've just put male and female guppies in one tank, and they are multiplying like crazy. Now they are on a 20-gallon tank. Also, I've got two other fishes that are in quarantine right now because they are releasing those white stringy poop, and they said it might be constipation on them, or they have some worm on their body, and I do not want that with all the other fishes. So this is how my self-sustaining tank look like so far, and this is how our goldfish look like so far. I don't know if you have noticed as well, but we've added some sponge filter inside to kind of help clear up things. Before it wasn't so visible, so now it is. So this is the sponge filter we've added to help out with their, with their bioload, because they poop a lot. And then we've also added some Java fern, which I'm very thankful they haven't eaten yet. And we've added some really strong filter for 70-gallon there, 70 or 60-gallon there. Also, we've added some heater to kind of help them out. And the water is starting to get clear. It'll probably get a little bit more cleaner once we do the third water change. Thank you for watching. One last thing before I end. Our Blackmore Hope is now starting to turn orange as well.